Okay, so in this video, we're going to talk a little bit about client holidays. So there's a lot to cover in this video because client holidays affects a lot of the application. So let's take a quick look at what we're seeing in front of us. So I've got a week's worth of events. The dog we're going to be focusing on is Shiloh in this case. So you can see here that I've got a walk that she's included on. I've got a custom event and a daycare event, as well as a boarding event on the weekends. So, say for example, you have planned out your diary and your clients decide to then bugger off to the Maldives for a couple of weeks, which would mean that in order for you to remove Shiloh from these events, you would have to go in manually and remove one by one. So that is where client holidays is hopefully going to help you. So I'm going to show you a quick example. So if we click add event, select client holiday. All right. And what you can see here is with the option to select a dog, a start and end date, some notes, and a box for a retainer fee. So I'm just going to select Shiloh from the list. And I'm just going to go to the 26th of January and to the 2nd. Okay, so we selected Shiloh, we've selected our start and our end date, and we can already see here that the app is telling us that some events are affected by the client holiday. So just tap the button below and you'll get a bottom sheet which will give you all the events that are affected by this holiday. Now, one caveat to note is you can't have a client holiday and a boarding event that clash. So if I try to extend the client holiday to the weekend, you'll see here that the boarding event, which I showed you in the previous screen, conflicts with this holiday. And if you need to just have a quick look at that specific boarding event, you can tap the calendar icon and it'll take you to that boarding event. Okay, so I'm just going to remove this and put it back to the 2nd. And I'm going to add a retainer fee of £100 and just create the holiday. So there's a few things to note when you've made your holiday and a few places that you're going to see this reflected. So let's start with the dashboard. So right off the bat, we'll see here that today the daycare event that was within that holiday periods has been affected by the holiday. And we can see that Shiloh has been marked on the holiday. The income's been marked as 0. So if we actually go into the daycare event, we can see here that there's a green bar that says Shiloh has a holiday that conflicts with this event. Any income from the event will be ignored when invoicing, etc. Next, we're going to go to the diary. So you'll see here that in the diary, Shiloh has been marked on holiday and also in any events as well. So if you see here underneath the afternoon wrecking crew, she's marked as on holiday, and our custom event here. All right. So let's go back to the walk and have a quick look. So we can see here that Shiloh has been marked on holiday until the 2nd of February and that the income has been updated as a result of this. And if we just dive very quickly into the custom event, we can see here that again, Shiloh has been marked on holiday until the 2nd of February and income has also been updated as well. So if you remember, we added a retainer fee for this holiday. So again, you can see that reflected in the admin panel. So the start date was in January, so we need to go back to January to see the retainer fee that's been added. So you can see here under retainer fees, there's the £100 retainer fee that we added. Okay, so very quickly, I'm just going to show you how an invoice would be affected by a client holiday. So via the doghouse, I'm going to select Shiloh, tap on the calendar icon. Okay, and this menu button at the top. And then I'm going to select create invoice PDF. And then we'll just select the specific dates of the holiday. In fact, let's do it till the Saturday. Okay. So on the next screen, what you'll see here is we have 2 events. We've got our holiday, which has a retainer fee. Now, it's important to bear in mind that if you mark your retainer fee as zero, then it simply just won't be included on your invoice along with any events. So we had a walk, a custom event, and a daycare event within that holiday period. Now, normally, if you didn't have a client holiday, those events would be showing here, but because those events fall within the client holiday, then they don't show here at all. And then you also, just to kind of prove that, the boarding event that happens after our client holiday, which on the third, you can see here that our client holiday ended on the second. So when we go to generate our PDF, what you'll see in your invoice is a record of the boarding event itself and the holiday retainer. So you'll see here that the walk, the daycare event, and the custom event, which we had made that was within the 26th of January to the 2nd of February, hasn't been included. So I'm hoping that you see how flexible the client holidays are. I mean, it would be very painful if you've mapped out, say, 20, 30 different events and your client was on holiday for a month in the summer. It'd be very, very tedious to go through that entire period and mark them or remove them from events. So I'm really hoping that you find the client holiday calendar event very, very helpful, and it just makes your life easier in general. Okay, so that is client holidays.